What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Sweat It Out podcast. Today, we have a very, very special guest. She is local as well, and I'm excited for this one. I know Bryan is too. She is a best-selling author, businesswoman, and an in-demand speaker. She shares her experiences building an empire and creating an extraordinary 10x life. And on top of that, to top it all off, she's on a big mission to build the largest and most successful community of women on this planet. Please help us welcome the one and only Elena Cardone. How's it going?
Woo! Thanks for the introduction. Thank you. It's going amazing. Next time we have to meet in person.
That it will happen for sure. You let us know when you want us there, and we'll make it happen.
Okay, deal.
Done.
Thanks for having me on your show, by the way.
Of course, no, it's an honor, and again, we appreciate you taking your time out of your day, being the high performer you are, to just come in here, share with our audience, and really drop these bombs, because we're really excited for this.
Yay.
So Elena, just to dive in a little bit, just because, based on where you're at, the success you had, I really want to know, where did this all come from? Has this always been Elena from the beginning, or was this something you had to make and build up through your years?
Well, that's an interesting question. Me as a young child was always like this big thinker, so far over the top, wild imagination. I remember my mother used to tell me that I just had the wildest imagination. I would tell the wildest stories and lies, and I would sell them like they were for real. It was funny. So that was like when I was really small, right? And then I think I've always had this big wild kind of think, but then I think I ran into some situations in life where I allowed certain things to stop me, shut me down, suppress me, stop me, reality, all this. So I feel like the teens, the 20s, and into the 30s was all about trying to shut it all down and be realistic. And then there was a moment in time in around 2008 where I was just like, enough is enough. The crisis was happening. I was pregnant with our first child. I had to relook at my life and where it was at. And that's when I was just like, you know what? I did what I thought I was supposed to do. And I lived by the rules, the society rules. And that's not working for me anymore. So that's when I kind of just threw it all up. And I'm like, you know what? I'm doing me now. I'm going for my big think. I'm going over the top. I'm just doing me now. And fortunately, Grant Cardone is as big of a mind as mine. We're of comparable magnitude. And when you're around somebody that's a true team member that's not going to squash you, it's amazing how far you can go together when you're both like-minded and wanting to reach a heightened level of success and willing to help each other. So that's the answer, the very long answer to your question.
Oh, that's amazing. And I have another one. It might be just as long too. So you and Grant have a great real estate portfolio. And I always ask myself this: how do you manage to run a successful real estate company and have a family all at the same time?
Well, we have real estate, we have Cardone Enterprises, Cardone Ventures, we have Cardone Incubator, 10X Productions, 10X Events. There's about 16 other companies. So I'm saying that because there's a lot more than just the real estate portfolio. And how we manage to do it all is the whole family is indoctrinated on what it means to be a Cardone. And they have the right to participate on that. Cardone, like I tell my children, we want to make a difference for the better on this planet. We want to help people. And when they have our products and our services, or they live in our buildings, we provide safety and a great place to live at an affordable price. Anyway, so I say to the children, you can help with our mission, you cannot help with our mission, what do you choose? Well, we want to help, of course. Okay, so how can you contribute? Then it's, okay, one of the ways you can exchange with us as your mother and father is when I'm not with you, like right now, I'm not with my children. When I'm not with you, I want you to understand that when you allow me to be gone, or if I have to go out of town, and you allow me to be distraction-free, helping other people, and then I get to come home without being worried and you're thriving, do you realize that you also helped those people by not splitting my attention back onto you? You allowed me to be there to give. So that is a contribution. You're not doing nothing. You're not some child being left behind. You're actually contributing by allowing me to go and creating a good environment so I'm not worried, and vice versa, right? So that's just one little area. So how do I do it all? I get help, I expand. An empire is not only about me, it's finding the ones you trust that are on the same mission and path and willing to execute in their roles, because I can't be in all places at once. And then it's figuring out the juggling act, you know, like people ask me, how do you do balance? I'm not a balance beam chick. I'm a juggler chick, you know, and I got the chainsaws and the tennis balls and I'm a master juggler. And I just look at what is the one that's falling at the moment. That's the one I need to catch. And then what's the next one? And I do it like that. And I just focus on the immediate one that needs to be handled. You know, I can't be worried about the one at the top until that one gets to the point where I need to pay attention to it. So sometimes it's like if my kids are up there and just want my attention because they're bored, they're not getting my attention because they're bored. They're only going to get my attention when, okay, it's time. Work is done. Like I have to put in mother time because I have to also be in exchange with my children by being a good mother to them. So when that happens, I'm a good mother, and guess what? Then the people, the business world, you know, my EXP and all the people that I'm dealing with in my world, my 10X ladies, you know, they're up at the top and they're not getting my attention and they're being compromised while I'm doing family time. And that's my life. I'm a juggler. I'm a master juggler. And if the ones at the top are upset that I don't have or can give them the attention, and I have used this line many of times when people are like, you're not paying me attention. I said, get in line. Get in line behind my husband and my children and the first 5 other people that came before you. Like, I can only do what I can do, you know? And I just try to do the best at just being me.
I love it.
You know?
Oh, man,
Wow.
that's powerful. That's powerful. And first of all, I got to say that just watching your kids on social media and just seeing how they are, how they participate, their personalities, man, what you and Grant have done is truly amazing. And the preparation for their life is going to be so phenomenal to see when they become adults. So I just want to say that's really amazing what you guys are doing. And I'm saying this as well because I'm a father. My little girl's going to be 3 at the end of this month. And I model some of the things that you guys do and say because, you know, at the end of the day, these kids are going to be the leaders of the future. And having that proper guidance is what's going to help them to carve out and create the new world that's moving forward. Now, there's one thing that you did say here, and you mentioned about getting help and asking for help. I think a lot of people have a hard time doing that, especially at the beginning of their entrepreneurial life. Why is that, Elena? Why do so many people have a hard time asking for help?
You know, I don't know why. I know that I, myself personally, was reared to believe I had to be this strong, independent, powerful woman, never depend on anyone, but especially never depend on a man for anything. That's how I was raised. And so I thought I had to do everything myself. Well, that was very arduous. It was very hard. And you know what? I could only go so far on my own. It's like we can only go so far. As successful as I was as an actress, a model, I was on a TV show, you know, I couldn't go higher because I never allowed myself to have help. You know, it's because we're all under the guise that, you know, we're under this belief, be the solopreneur, do what you love, the money will follow. And yes, there are little truths to that, but there is no truth to the solopreneur. Like you can start a solopreneur, but if you want to build an empire, you can't show me one empire that has one person in it. It's never been done in the history of the world. So, you know, I really came to the realization that help is actually a very sane point. The ability to help and be helped is very sane. And not only that, but you need that. It's a necessity in order to grow an empire. And in order to have an empire, you have to depend on others. There is no such thing as being the strong, powerful, independent woman. I depend on my husband. I am not afraid to say that. I am a very powerful woman who depends on a man for a lot of shit in my life. And you know what? He depends on me for a lot because I execute in my role 100%. And he executes in his role 100%. And the two of us together are not in a 50-50 relationship. We're in 100, which is why we go so much further, farther, faster than so many other people who are like, no, I only do me, and and you know. And it's the same thing. I depend on my nanny, my babysitter, my housekeeper. If I didn't have my housekeeper, I wouldn't be able to be having the highest and best usage of my time because I would be full-time making beds. Thank God. This has to go over here. It's like the fifth time I've knocked it over. I mean, she's one of the most important roles in my life is my housekeeper. I'm very close to her. It's not a menial job in my existence. Like, she is in my inner circle. She knows everything. She's in my space, and she creates an environment to where I can function and think properly. And, you know, so it's all about roles in the empire and who they are to you. And I'm not stuck on being this superhero like I thought I had to be. And life has its other sets of challenges at other levels, but for the most part, life in this regards is like 1,000,000% easier.
Oh, and
it's such a relief. I'm not trying to be this strong woman and cutting my nose off and spite my face because I can't have help from half of the population on the planet. Like, is that sane? Is that a sane viewpoint? Like, I can't depend on a man? Like, how weird is that? Like, I don't get it. Like, you go and you don't depend on a man, and I will go and depend on every single ethical guy in my environment and watch the two of us and see where we go and how much success and abundance in all areas we have in our life. Because I'm not cutting off half of the population. That's strength to me and power.
And that's amazing that you bring that up because a lot of people are 50-50 in their relationship when they should be 100%. And everyone's dipping their toes in, and they're saying, hey, you know what? I'm not going to support my partner if they don't support me in this area or in that area. But seeing what you've just said right now, it just lit a spark in my head of why not just go all in 100% and see how far it goes and where it takes you. And definitely how you're able to balance, you're juggling all these different things that you're doing. How did you launch this 10X Ladies Network and scaled it to where it is today?
It's nowhere near where I want it to be. But again, this came out of me being my husband's biggest fan and 10X. And the two of us as a couple, who we are as a couple, not just as individuals, but as a couple, is we want 7 billion, 8 billion people on the planet to be winning from our products and services. From a fan, I know that my husband's material has changed my life, and I have seen it change other people's lives. So back in the day, this is 3 years ago, I was at GrowthCon 1, 2, and 3, and I'm not seeing a lot of women. And we have Cardone Enterprises, and there's not a lot of women there. Cardone Ventures, there's not women-owned businesses that we're joint venturing with. Same thing in Cardone Capital. Where's all my lady investors? And so that's when I just really took the responsibility, and I said, you know what? I'm going to be the one that attracts all the females into the organization and funnels them over to Grant, because I believe there's a network, a huge community of women out there who are not going to find my husband, either because they're not in that entrepreneurial space, or they're not, on social media finding him, or if they found him, they don't like him. I did not like him when I first met him. He was just not my style, So I figured if I could be the catalyst and then bring more women to the growth cons, more women, et cetera, and all the other businesses that we do. So that's why I launched 10X Ladies. It really wasn't a movement to be 10X Ladies, no men. It was 10X Ladies come into the community. Plus, I'm sick of all these guys saying, where's all the 10X ladies? And how do I find a partner that acts like you and Grant? I'm like, let me just go bring them over here and y'all deal with it.
Oh
you know?
man, Elena, I think you just solved one of my problems. I've been asking myself that for quite a while now. I'm like, where can I find myself a 10X lady?
By the way, if you're a single man, not a 10X ladies, like complete dum-dum, because these women are wanting to partner up and ally with their husbands, their spouses, their future boyfriends, whatever. They want to get on the same page. They want to reach a heightened level of success. They want to care about themselves physically, with the mindset, with business, finance, you know, so it's just the right community. You know, I'm just trying to bring us all together.
And you know what I really love about this is that you're bringing on, you know, the man alpha and the woman alpha in their own respective ways to work together and still be leaders and not bump heads. And I think it's an amazing thing because that might be something that you see or you hear, constantly bumping heads because one is more dominant, one is not. And it's not about one being more dominant than the other. It's about working with your strengths and helping, supporting each other. And that's what I'm hearing and seeing from this is that, you know, you can indoctrinate this new way of approaching, you know, bringing in two high performers, how they can work adjacent together and be able to create some massive success. And I really like that a lot. I really like that a lot because you don't see that being spoken about too often. And that's where you see a lot of problems start creating when you bring in two individuals that are very, very high performers in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I only speak because I know it from my own experience. You know, I moved to Los Angeles from New Orleans at 17 years old. I didn't get married to Grant until I was 30. I was of the mindset I was never going to be married. I probably was never going to have kids. I was very happy just being content. And then coming together with Grant for the first 4 years of our marriage, I was still operating with that don't depend on a man. And yet I'm married to one. So how weird is that? And so far as to not even wanting to cook a meal for him because I didn't want to be labeled like a subservient woman. You know, my worst fear, women all over the world were going to disown me because I'm some weak woman, right? And then I just realized, wait a minute, I can be as powerful and as strong as I am. Let's figure out where we want to go, first of all, and then let's, you know, reverse engineer it and look at honestly what our strengths and weaknesses are and deli them up, not based on male, female, although ours do look more traditional because it just happens to be that I excel in those areas more than he does. And let's face it, I was an actress and artist. I just don't know about business the way Grant does. And I mean, he's a master at business. So why am I gonna, we're equal in marriage, but we're not equal in all of our roles. When we come to the office, he's the boss and I'm the junior, and I trust him, because find the one you trust and build an empire. I trust him to be efficient in his role, and the roles that I am 100% on, he is my junior. So everything under our household, I run. Who we hang out with, who comes into the empire, where the kids go to school, every decision. Can they have sugar that day? Can they not? I mean, all of the behind the scenes is all me, you know, even, we don't need to get into it. But anyway, my point to that is when I'm so busy and two powerful people have their roles, whether one's the marketer or one's the accountant, even if they're working side by side in business, you can be the sounding board, but at the end of the day, you have to relinquish that role to the one that you trust to execute. So I'm so busy running my department, and because we are high performers, my department has to excel and be the best. Right? And because he's the same, he's worried about his department and making it excel. So when we're doing that, we're less likely to fight each other because I'm not vying for some position. I have a position, a role, and a sector that I'm responsible for.
I love that. You know, and I think for all the listeners out there listening today, you know, pay attention to what Elena just said and understand your roles, what you're strong at, what you're weak at, you know, who's an expert at this, who is not, and help each other out instead of tear each other down. And I think that's just a beautiful thing because sometimes, you know, ego gets in the way and other certain things. But when you can come together and realize if we can work like this, we're going to work so much better and we're going to make amazing things happen. When did that shift happen for you, Elena, with you and Grant? When did that shift happen where you realized, okay, this is what we need to do in order to excel and really 10X?
Well, it was in 2008 when the economy collapsed. We were under a lawsuit. Grant's business, as he knew it, was over. I was pregnant with our first child. There was no acting jobs for me. And we were on the verge of losing everything financially. And that's when I just had to confront and get real and get honest. And that was my first actual entrepreneurial moment, you know, when you actually put something at risk. Well, I put all of my chips on Grant and had to contend with the imaginary woman voices that were saying I was a sellout for backing a man and quitting my acting career and, you know, and all those voices that women hear, oh, you know, he's just going to leave you for somebody younger, and then what are you going to do? You know, this is like real issues that I think more than just crazy little me experience as a woman, right? But I said, screw it, entrepreneurial moment. I'm betting, find the one you trust, build an empire. It's all on Grant, trade it in order to trade up. I was like, this is how I'm running the empire. You know, I told you I left, I just released all the baggage. I was like, okay, I don't care what anyone says. It's my life. Okay, we're doing this. This is what I can do. This is what I can bring to the table. This is what you can do. And it was really, once we got clear on where we wanted to go together, like, are we in this? We are married. Like, what does that even mean? Like, am I married just because we're supposed to, you know, have sex and live happily ever after? Like, what is the purpose of marriage? I mean, I had to analyze this. I'm married and I don't even know what does this mean? And I'm like, the only reason for me to be married is because the greatest act of love is to help someone achieve their goals and their dreams. So if I'm gonna show Grant that I love him, I'm gonna help him achieve his goals and his dreams. And the same for me from him. And for me, that's the only reason to be married to someone, is can they help me when I'm at my highest? Because I'm gonna do everything to get to my highest. I'm not gonna let myself slack. You're not gonna be scraping me off of the ground because I'm a freaking wreck disaster chick. No, I'm gonna bring myself to the highest, and then my partner needs to help me get to the higher level that I can't do myself. I need a hand, I need a boost, and so that's when the whole moment came together with me. That's when, I mean, we're still human, right? And we're still powerful, we still fight, but for the most part, right? For the most part, we're going for such big, unattainable goals that the little stuff has to slide. Grant is not my enemy. He is, if I am fighting with him and he is fighting with me, our goal is not big enough. Because when you don't have a big enough goal, the goal becomes, well, the easy, simple one is you're there, I'm here, we can fight each other, we can have a game and some drama and life to play, and wow, isn't my life exciting? No, it's really not. Like, for me, that's not heightened levels of success. That's not where the big leagues play. I'm done playing small, okay? So we're on a team, much like a Super Bowl, right? So in game, you know, I'm going for the Super Bowl game of life. So if Grant is my teammate and we're in game 3, and, you know, if I'm quarterback and he's the receiver and misses the ball, you know, we can sit there and fight all day long, and he can tell me, you need to do a better job throwing the ball in the right spot, and I could be like, it's your fault for not getting there and catching all catchable balls. Or we can each take responsibility, and I can do my work on the side of getting it more accurate, and he can do whatever he needs to do to get more accurate. But certainly by game 7, I'm not gonna go be rehashing an old fight about in game 3 when we've got the playoffs and the Super Bowl coming up. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, move on. And when you really start to operate on bigger levels and you're on the same page, it's just so boring. And you feel so degraded to be fighting about lower end, ridiculous, stupid stuff, when really your potential is you can actually change the world. If you really know that, but you've been made to think that you're some small, weak woman, man, and you're supposed to play in these small games, then you're gonna keep playing at that. But I know that is not who anyone truly is to the core. We are all all of us are meant for greatness if we just stand up and release the imaginary baggage and chains that we have allowed to be wrapped upon us.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. Preach,
Wow.
Elena.
Amen.
Woo, you made me sweat right now.
10x. All the way up.
Shoot. Holy moly. Who's coming to 10X ladies?
Woo.
Okay,
Well, I'll be there for sure.
I'll be there for sure.
Okay. And if you care about your ladies, bring them. I have men coming with their daughters, men coming with their colleagues, men coming with their spouses because they want to understand. You know, it takes understanding to have more knowledge, more control, you know, and you have to be willing to take responsibility so that we can all get on the same page, understand what the viewpoints are for the sole purpose of higher execution, not for the sole purpose of bashing and making wrong. I'm not into those games. So it's a very safe environment to send the ladies.
And I'll say it right now, with the times and the era that we live in, more than ever, this is a great way to bring families together and make them stronger and see couples win, because I'll tell you, it's much needed and we need to see more of it.
I agree. Thank you. And that is my purpose. I have several, but other than the one I already mentioned with Grant's products winning, you know, from people winning from his products and services, my legacy play, my spiritual purpose is I want to make families and relationships cool again. I want to restore the family dynamic. I want to restore the value of women to society, not just from a man's perspective, but also from women. I can't even tell you how many times I've asked a woman, what do you do? And I hear, I'm just a mom. And I'm like, wait, I'm sorry, you're just a mom. Can we back up? Like, okay, let's analyze maybe the most important role to society. If there is going to be one that continues, it would involve the rearing of children to be productive members of society. So you're telling me that as the woman, the matriarch, the power of the house, you're just a mom? You're only responsible for the continuation of society, but you're just a mom. Like it literally sends a dagger through my heart.
Ooh,
like it should be like, what do you do?
And that's the thing.
I am a mother. And everyone would be like, wow, that's cool.
It's how you say it, right? It's how you believe it, how you say it, the tonality, the energy behind it. That's what makes it powerful.
So
that's right. And that's what I want women to have. I want them to own their power.
So a woman in the relationship, and let's say they want to 10x their lives with their spouse, how do they go about creating goals that will 10x both of their lives? Like, what would be the thought process, or what do you recommend, like a work through, something that's applicable that somebody can take from this podcast, do it today, and say, hey, this is how I'm gonna start 10xing our lives together?
The very most simple, basic exercise that someone could do right now is like take a piece of paper with your partner. And then what I do is I draw like 2 columns and I put me, you, us. Because most people don't even just do this. Most people just do me, like you know your own goals. So me, I write down all my goals, okay? This woman's revolution that I want to do, this restoration, you know, but I want to do my own EXP realty business. I want to create the largest, most successful real estate team in the world. So I write down all my goals, right? I want to bring more women into our thing. I also have my fun little goals, like I like MMA, I like shooting guns. Those are me, right? So then ask your partner, okay, what are your goals? What do you want to do? And then let's ask, okay, who are we together? Most couples have never even asked themselves that question. But right now, look at what are we? Are we the fighting couple? Are we the undependable couple? Who do we want to be? Do we want to be a model couple, a stable model couple for others? That they can be like comforted knowing that, wow, you know what, there is strength in numbers, and it's not always easy, but if we continue with this and continue to work, you know what I mean? Like, who are we? What is the example? Do you want to contribute to your community, to the globe? Like, where are you going as a couple? So figure that out. Then what Grant and I do is, okay, I want to do this to bring these women in here. Do you support that? Yes, I do. Oh, great. Okay. Now I have his support on that. So when I'm juggling and I'm on a call, now I know, okay, he understands that I have to be doing this because he supports me in my goals, which feeds our goals, that's going to 10x us as a couple. So anything in my column, like for instance, like my guns, I used to be a competitive 3-gun shooter, but it takes a whole, no, I just went back out for the first time in 2 years. It's amazing. But okay, but this is the point to that, okay? The point to that is who this is as a couple and these other things that rank in importance. The gun thing, how does that serve me in this, in making us better when I want to try to do it full time? It takes me away from the family. Where's the return on investment? Where is it contributing? So I can't figure out how to make it tie in. So I've had to put that kind of on a back seat. I can't take up that much time to do that. I can make time because it's very important to me here and there, little increments because it feeds my soul. But it doesn't feed the big picture, so I've had to compromise it a little bit. Small little sacrifice, you know? You have to look at where you want to go and know this. You can have everything that you want in life, but it will come with a sacrifice. And sometimes it means, what are you willing to give up in order to go where you want to be? And sometimes it looks like you have to give up excessive drinking or drugs or loaf time with the guys or the girls or binge watching TV. And sometimes it could mean chopping down on something that's a great thing, like shooting guns, that's not bad, but it acts more as loaf time. So then you have to realize, okay, I have to sacrifice that, but now that can become like the good ones, not the bad ones, the excessive alcohol, no, those have to go permanently. But then the gun thing gets to become like a reward, like something that I hit, like once I hit 500 people in my organization at EXP, I get to go have my gun day.
Hitting those targets.
Yes, I like hitting targets. Oh,
man.
Ding, 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 ding. I love it.
This is so awesome. Look, guys, do me a favor right now. Pause this right now, and I want you to do exactly what Elena just said and take out that piece of paper, write these things down for you, also as well bring your partner in and then the goals you have together, because these are all key points that she touched upon. And this is going to make your relationships better. This is going to make your business better. This is going to make your family better and so much stronger. And I'll tell you right now, it's funny because you brought this up because I've seen and I've actually implemented once a similar model like this, not exactly like that, but similar. And it's so crazy because the amazing truth behind all that is that it just gives you such a clear vision when you guys work together and see, man, this is what my partner's doing. This is what I want to do. And this is what we want to do. We can actually make this happen. We got to just support each other. And like you said, yes, there's moments we have to sacrifice. Is the sacrifice something we can do now? Is it not? And coming to that agreement together, yes and no, yes and no. How can we help each other out? Does this make sense? And then bringing that all together and having a game plan for the future is truly amazing. Elena, what are your goals? Since you listed some, what are your goals moving into this year? I want to know moving into 2022. What is Elena's goals?
Okay, well, so in last year, Grant partnered up with Glenn Sanford, who's the founder of EXP, which is now a publicly traded company.
Shout out to EXP.
Woohoo! So they were going to orchestrate this deal, and in order to do that deal, Glenn didn't know how it was going to work because Grant wasn't a licensed realtor. So I raised my hand. You want me to become the realtor? They say yes. Oh my God, this is great. And I thought that was it. I thought, okay, this is going to be another thing that I do behind the scenes. I'll get my real estate license so that Grant can put his training platform for all the EXP realtors out there. No one's ever going to know. It doesn't even matter. Just taking one for the team. Let's go do your deal. Da 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 da. Well, once I got my real estate license and learned about this model is there's a component that's like a multi-level marketing component, meaning an agent can come in, bring up to 7 people, or bring a person that brings in a person, and they get paid on 7 layers deep of all these people from all over the world, not just like in America, all over the world. And so I saw this opportunity for the masses to create wealth through real estate, not just from earned income, meaning their commission, but from this additional bucket, this revenue share portion. So my light bulb went off because I was like, wow, I found my moment where I have the opportunity to not only be the woman, of course, very proud woman behind the man, but now I have the opportunity to do my genius, what I did with Grant, mindset, infrastructure, and support. I'm a master at support, you know, showing active interest in the success of, being strong enough to bear the weight of. So if I could bring all of my expertise and my knowledge behind all the people that I bring into my fold to build the largest, most successful real estate team in the world, then I will have personally helped transform the financial stability, the financial freedom, and in some cases, financial legacy to a lot of people in my organization. By the way, that's a willable bucket, that revenue share portion. So that's what I want. I want to build, I want to have 100,000 in my organization. I do have a plan for that and certain targets that I have to hit. But so far, look, I've been a licensed realtor for 9 months and I have just under 500 people in my organization.
Wow.
It takes brokers about 20 years in some cases to get that many people. So it's really exciting, and I'm going all over the world and I'm building this thing out. And it's the first time since I traded in 2008 that I'm in the workforce other than like our Cardone workforce. So this is scary for me, and it's new, and I've never like built my own thing from scratch. You know, I was always an actress. I was cast in things, or I was a model. I never like did this whole thing. So it's very new for me. My family has to be patient as we figure out the role and the transition, because remember, I still have to keep all these balls juggling. Now I'm adding this whole massive other thing that wants a lot of my attention. But it's really exciting, because if I can do that, then I will have my spiritual legacy in a very profound way for myself.
Oh, and that's beautiful.
In addition to Grant, I'm not diminishing what I have with Grant and all of my role in that either. I'm just saying, on a on the me side,
on that personal fulfillment level.
Personal fulfillment. The couples is great, you know, but that is what I'm talking about. Yes.
So as you're building this EXP empire, and you're going through all these different, different opportunities are presenting themselves, what are some challenges that you've been presented with as you're going through this journey, and how do you overcome obstacles that come into your way? Like overall, how do you handle those obstacles that you face?
Well, I surround myself with the best. I'm a new realtor, so it's challenging. They don't teach you this stuff on course. So I've made a lot of rookie mistakes. I've had to call my friends who are the experts, the best in the business here in Miami, and I just feel so dumb, you know, but that's where I'm at. I'm like, what is this? And how do I do this? And where do I get this? And, you know, they have to walk me through it. And so, but that's where I'm at, right? Now, when it comes to the other side, dealing with now that I'm a licensed realtor and people want to go buy homes from other people, it's like, wait, I'm sorry. Do you not know that I'm a licensed realtor now? And that hurts my feelings. But, you know, how do I deal with it? You keep moving forward and fill your pipeline. Then I've had people come in, friends. I've had friends come into my organization and, not be on my support calls and not do the training that I offer and not be a part of the group. And I'm assuming that they're doing great, but they're not. And then all of a sudden they leave without even a phone call to tell me that they're leaving. It's so hurtful. And they're like, oh, well, I wasn't getting attention. I'm like, what do you expect? Do you expect with everything that I have going on, like I'm going to call in and say, how are you today? Like, do you not know how to communicate and come to me and say you need help? Because the second you do that, I am putting you, that's what I am. I am support. I know how to put you with the right person to help you and to get you involved. And, you know, so things like that is just understanding that not all people are 10X. Not all people know how to communicate, and confronting the fact that some people who cannot make any products for themselves will blame you to get them off of the hook for being lackluster and for not performing and producing. And they come in and they you know, poo on you as an FU to you because they can't perform. And then you just have to understand that you are just going to be that whipping goat or whatever it's called, you know, whipping board for them in that manner. And when they leave, I'm like, okay, well, that hurt, but I can continue to focus on the strong. And usually when they leave, there's a boost and I rise up and get even more and better. So I just try. Again, I know I'm long-winded, but again, I try to take responsibility for what I can take responsibility for. So from that, I now put an assistant that I hired, and I said, call every single person in my front line who's not producing and say, put them on a program. Put them on a program. You have to do A, B, C, D, and E. So what I'm trying to say is every bad experience, I try to look at what I can take responsibility for. How can I improve a little bit better? What was the opportunity in that for me to do better and grow? And then the rest is, look, there's no scarcity. There's 7 billion people on planet Earth. I'm not going to be the right pick for everyone.
Right.
And I don't have a problem with people falling by the wayside because I'm in abundance. I'm just going to go get more and more and more. And the ones that fall, they were never going to stick with me. So it's just like a mental thing, but also take responsibility for what you can.
It's like I always say, if you try serving everybody, you don't serve anybody. And we need people in all levels, believe it or not. We need people in all levels who are just consumers, the ones who do want to move the needle forward, the ones that want to become the team A players. And when we start realizing that in our respective industries, you start realizing, okay, now I can reduce my level of anxiety and realize, okay, what I need to put most of my energy on, focus on. And the rest is, hey, it's not for everybody. I'm going to go keep pushing, go keep making calls,
right.
go getting those leads.
That's right. And, I think enough of myself. I'm like, I don't know. Now that we're on the football references, I guess like I'm a Belichick. I coach professionals, you know. I'm not little league. I don't do good. When you're not competent, I'm not good. But I know how to put you with the right people who can train you and get up to that part if you're willing to put in the work, you know. So it's true. You know, it's you got to know your strengths and weaknesses. And the producers, the ones that are the ones that put the stats on the board, get my attention. I'll do anything for them. You know, I'll drop everything to back one of those people because they have the stat in the area. They're a professional. And so when one of my players needs help on the field, I got to be there. You know?
Amen. Wow, Elena, what can I say? Golden nuggets, diamonds, gems, everything you dropped it on today. And, we're really appreciative of you taking your time to come speak to our audience. I know you're a busy individual doing amazing things, spending time with the family, hitting your goals. And it's just amazing that you still make time to put the word out there, the message, and impact people on all levels. And I know that there's at least a handful out here they're going to come out and reach out to you and see the amazing stuff you're doing, especially with the 10X ladies. I want to see some ladies out of this podcast come over and hit up Elena because, guys, she is doing some big things. Elena, where can people connect with you? There you go.
I need the women. I need to grow my empire. I want you. How can you reach out? Well, for 10X Ladies, 10xladies.com, or it's elenacardone.com, or reach me anywhere. Instagram is probably a good one, or call the office, or email my assistant, Dani, D-A-N-I, at grantcardone.com.
Guys, you heard it from Elena herself.
Grant says give them one thing to do, never give them more than one thing to do.
That's
and
right.
I think I just gave 5 things to do. Oh, boy.
And they're still going to do it. Watch, they're still going to do it. So, Elena, like I always like to wrap it up on the podcast, what's the number one biggest piece of advice you can leave off to all our listeners today in one single sentence?
Oh, wow. Okay, one single sentence. Don't be greedy with who you are. Share it with the world. You can help me. And to withhold yourself because of whatever stupid constraints that you have is such a transgression against yourself, because you could have made a difference in my life and you didn't. So don't do that. Go, live your life, take more risks, put yourself out there. Let me know about your products and services. You could change my life and you could help me. And you do make a difference and you are important. And be your own best friend and forgive yourself.
You guys heard it from the powerhouse, Elena.
If you more than one sentence, oh my God.
I let it run just for you because you're killing it.
Clearly, I do not take direction well. I need some help in
five call to actions, and you kept running on with the sentence. I love it. I love it. The energy, everything.
This is why I didn't do good in school. This is why I didn't do good in school. I just couldn't take direction.
This was truly amazing. Guys, if you got value out of this podcast, at least one single thing, put it into application today, not tomorrow, not the next day, today, right now. Use that motivation as fuel to take action. Because remember, guys, at the end of the day, it's about creating impact. So if you did get value, we would appreciate if you like, subscribe, comment, share. Because the more love you show us, the more love we can show back, and we can create impact. Elena, thank you so much. Till next time on the Sweat It Out podcast.